A very good evening to you and welcome to the news. I'm Ebere. We're going to the news tonight. State government identifies education as best form of empowerment for the girl child. Over 2,000 persons from Okija and neighboring towns benefit from eye and dental treatment from Dozie Foundation. Overland plane catches fire at Murtala Mohammed General Aviation Terminal. On the foreign scene tonight, Zimbabwe faces diminishing purchasing power from fragile local currency. And now details of the news. Anambra state government has advocated education as the best empowerment for the girl child. Senate State Deputy Governor Dr. Nkemokeke stated this at a sensitization program organized to mark this year's International Girl Child Day in the state at the Government House, Oka. Government House correspondent Eji Kabana tells us more.
Deputy Governor Okeke called for collaborative efforts by stakeholders, including traditional rulers, religious leaders, especially fathers in the society, to end early child marriage and protect the girl child. Dr. Okeke, who emphasized that the best legacy parents can bequeath to their wards is education to enable them compete globally, added that the state government is doing everything within its powers to end early child marriage in the state.
So we need to concentrate our efforts on our awareness campaign on the right stakeholders, not on the children. Nobody wants a child to get married early. We all agree that marriage is necessary when the time comes for it. What a child needs, what every child needs, I'm looking at my wine here, is a little bit of this. Very matter. Give a child education. I'm going to say, nobody give a whole, get up again, or get up there more. Give a child an education. Let the child be able to compete globally.
The Catholic Bishop of Awka Diocese, Most Reverend Paulinus Ezokafo, stressed the importance of celebrating the success of the Golden Girls appropriately, saying that time has gone when the concept of housewives dominated the society, as women now make meaningful contributions for the upkeep of the family. Bishop Ezokafo, while urging other girls to imitate the Technovation girls, advocated for the abolition of hair plaiting and other frivolities in schools, saying it is time-consuming.
Depend on your hard work for everything. As you can go and make it. You don't know that time housewife. Think of the good child and the family will be together. So I do not have much to say except that I'm happy about this girl and I know more will come. Already from what they have said on now, the sky will be the limit. And every other person here and still the children, our grandchildren can achieve it. It's the only question of making up their mind. And so I'm happy. I have so many things to do, but when this thing was mentioned, I said also that I must be here.
The convener of the event, Mrs. Mary Ann Izuchukwu, while stressing that they will take the message to the 21 local government areas of the state, said that the sensitization is important because of the spate of early child marriage, child trafficking, abuse, and denial of human rights in the society, emphasizing that a girl needs to be mature before marriage.
We're going to celebrate it in a grand style. We believe that more girls are going to come up. Because after this, we're going to go around the whole 21 local governments to educate and encourage our girls to have a phone number that they will call whenever they have problems. Because this is a year we have to thank God because He made the girls proud. And He wants us to know who we are. Because when you know who you are, you can go places. Not just because of anything, but with the favor of God in you.
One of the Technovation girls said that they won gold at the challenge because of their interest in problem solving. The event, which attracted the Girls Guard, security operatives, and Youth Council of Nigeria, featured presentation of the Anambra girls who won gold at the 2018 Technovation World Challenge in USA. From the Government House, Oka, Eji Kabana, ABS News.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joe Akabike, says the state government will continue to do its best to make our girls and women more productive, economically independent, as well as explore their potentials. Dr. Akabike made this known during a press briefing to mark the 2018 Day of the Girl Child. Chibuzo Okoye was at the press briefing and now reports.
International Day of Girl Child was voted and passed as a resolution on the 19th December 2011 by the United Nations General Assembly to be celebrated at every 11th of October and was launched in the year 2012. Briefing the press, Dr. Akabike said that the objective of the day was to raise awareness facing girls internationally surrounding education, nutrition, child marriage, equality, and access to services regarding puberty, legal and medical rights. Dr. Akabike further said that the celebration will help to break the cycle of discrimination and violence against women, require their active participation in the decision-making process, among others. The commissioner noted that as part of activities to mark the event in the state, the ministry will equally reach out to adolescent girls and boys and give them health talk on dangers of cultism, alcohol, child abuse, effects of abortion, poor nutrition, and menstrual hygiene.
So that's why in Anambra State today, under the able leadership of Chief Dr. Anambra and the entire people of Ministry of Health, Anambra State at large, we are joining the whole world to say we are celebrating the girl child, and also to say emphatically that the girl child is also as good as the male counterpart in all perspectives, and to promote girls' empowerment and fulfillment of their human rights, while also highlighting the challenges that girls all over the world face.
Other activities, according to Dr. Akabike, are roadwork, sharing of handbills and flyers, schools debate, football competition between girls and boys, and emphasis will be given to Oka North local government, Anambra East, Anambra West, and Orumba North council areas.
And away from that, over 2,000 persons from Okija and her neighborhood have benefited from the free eye and dental treatment organized by Dozie Foundation and the International Center for Vision and Healthcare currently going on at the Basilica of St. Peter's Church, Okija, Anambra State. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joe Akabike, who flagged off the free eye and dental treatment, urged Dozie Foundation to key into Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme to ensure continuity of treatment for the beneficiaries at an affordable rate. We have a detailed report on that. We sincerely apologize for that poor audio output. It will be coming in our subsequent bulletin. Now moving on, as the nation wallows in flood and its negative effects, the traditional ruler of Owele Kingdom, Igwe Anthony Onyekwere in Anambra West Council area, says dredging of River Niger holds the solution to the natural disaster. Igwe Onyekwere spoke with other discussants on an ABS radio program, Odimma Anambra, being anchored by Okigbo Ezelabo. We have detailed reports on that.
Onyekwere said the riverine communities along the bank of the River Niger easily gets overflooded once more volume of water passes through the route due to the fact that sand has taken over the space for water in the river. According to the royal father, the last River Niger dredging project was a shoddy job, hence the need for complete evacuation of the sand from the depth of the river to allow smooth water flow without overflow on the land. He regretted the heavy casualties the current flood has taken, pointing out that farmlands, cash crops and residential buildings were invaded by great flood.
In 2012, if only man seen a main market, individual, the businessman, they do say put in the maduni. Kawa mal banatal for say market. Man kekita, the government government the misaligned even. He is the money that they are coming for and also is the hour office. My government
the traditional prime minister of the town, Chief Christopher Udeze, and the women leader, Mrs. Pauline Ukeji, bemoaned the losses the people of the riverine encountered and pleaded for more assistance.
Nkai nozi akita nkarwa jokanare nkega the year 2012.
Small scale acquisition
In his contribution, a former President General of Owele Kingdom, Chief Peter Udora, called on the federal government and other agencies involved in agriculture to provide farmers with land and other farm inputs early enough so that they can embark on timely planting and harvesting before the time of flooding.
Well, report says an aircraft in the fleet of Overland Airways has caught fire. The plane caught fire today at one of the General Aviation Terminal hangars at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos. Reports further said that the plane went up in flame while it was still connected to the group ground power unit of the local airport. It was gathered that there was explosion as the aircraft burned, sending splinters all over the airport. No one has been reported hurt. Fire service successfully doused the fire, though the plane reportedly burnt beyond redemption. And away from that, Vigilante Chairman attached to Adazi-Noku town, Mr. Frank Okonkwo, brought to Nene Division a male child of about 1 year old alleged to have been abandoned in the bush opposite Holy Trinity House, Adazi-Noku. According to Anambra State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Haruna Muhammad, the baby is dark in complexion and without a tribal mark. However, effort is ongoing to trace his biological parents in order to reunite him with the family. Meanwhile, the commandant joins members of the public with useful information that could help trace the parents of the child to report at Nene Division or call the police emergency number 070-391-94-332. Public appealed to help trace parents of abandoned child. And up next is business news and success. Odemena is standing by with the latest.
The federal government has opened discussions with the World and the International Monetary Fund on how to checkmate international oil companies involved in illicit financial flows out of the country. The Minister of Finance, Ajia Zaina Ahmed, who led the Nigeria delegations to the ongoing annual meetings of the Bretton Woods institutions in Bali, Indonesia, said that the IFFs must be stopped to make more resources available for the nations to properly address its developmental needs. She said that IOCs were responsible for as high as about 70% of such illegal financial flows out of the continent, citing the Thabo Mbeki Committee report on the menace. The Nigeria delegation also met international investors to persuade them to invest in the country. Fielding questions from journalists on the meeting, the minister said investors were enthusiastic about coming to invest in Nigeria, especially given the high comparative advantage by doing so. Ajia Ahmed identified a double-digit rate of return on investment as one critical point that set Nigeria above other countries of the world in that regard.
And moving on to the foreign scene, a deepening unease is settling over Zimbabwe as the country's fragile local currency loses value at an alarming speed. Prices soar, local and foreign businesses close their doors, and people wonder whether their savings are about to be wiped out once again as they were during the economic collapse and spectacular hyperinflation that tore through the country a decade ago. KFC has closed its local outlets, citing this difficult times, while supermarkets have been rationing some items, and mining companies and other key exporters are complaining about a lack of access to foreign exchange reserves. Concern is rising along the with prices following a series of unexpected government announcements regarding plans for a new 2% tax on money transfers and for possible changes to a controversial local currency which had been pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar. Almost a year after former President Robert Mugabe was ousted following a military coup, Zimbabwe's government, led by his former party, ZANU-PF, is still trying to dig its way out of an economic hole caused by years of reckless spending, corruption, and policy uncertainty and sluggish exports. And that's it on the news tonight. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And just before we go tonight, the main points again: state government has identified education as best form of empowerment for the girl child. Over 2,000 persons from Okija and neighboring towns have benefited from eye and dental treatment from Dozie Foundation. Overland plane has caught fire at Murtala Mohammed General Aviation Terminal. And on the foreign scene, Zimbabwe faces diminishing purchasing power from fragile local currency. And that's the size of our package tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ebere Ugonna.